They say you should never speak its name aloud in the woods. Not after the sun abandons the sky. Not when the wind has a voice of its own. But my grandmother, she didn't just speak to it. She promised it would be her life. This wasn't a story she told for frights around a campfire. It was a confession, whispered to me on a night much like this. Her gnarled hands clutching the arms of her chair as if the very air might steal her away. It happened in the Great Lakes region, near Gichigumi, in the bitter winter of 1934, a place where the old Algonquin tales weren't just stories. They were warnings carved into the frozen earth. Her name was Alara. The land was starving, the game had vanished, the crops had failed, and the snows came early, burying hope along with the paths. The cold wasn't just an absence of heat, it was a presence, a hunger. And in those parts, when the land grows hungry, it wears a familiar face. They called it the Wendigo. Not a ghost, not a beast, but a spirit of endless, ravenous famine. It didn't just take your body, it coveted your soul. It started with the wind. It would move through the pines with a purpose, a sound like 1,000 mouths sucking the marrow from the bones of the world. Alara would hear it call her name, not a shout, but a pull, a whisper on the frozen air, that left her parched, her throat raw with a thirst no water could quench. One night, driven by a desperation that eclipsed her fear, she went out. She followed the sound, the feeling, deep into the woods where the moon dared not shine. She said the air grew so cold it felt sharp, and the scent of rot and frost, of spoiled meat and wet earth, was so thick it was a taste. And then she saw it. It was taller than any man, a thing of bone and shadow and starvation. Its limbs were too long, its posture a blasphemy against the trees. But it was the silence that followed its gaze that truly broke her. The wind died. The world held its breath. And it spoke to her, not with a voice, but with a thought that echoed in the hollow of her skull. It offered her a choice, a life for a life. Her family would see the spring. Their bellies would be full. Their hearth would be warm. All she had to do was consent. She said, yes. In that moment of frozen terror, she gave her answer. A warmth flooded her, a false spring in her veins. She felt a connection snap into place, a chain of frost linking her soul to that thing. It turned, and with a sound like a dying breath, it was gone. The wind returned, but it was different. It knew her. She returned to her family. The game came back. The winter broke early. They survived. But my grandmother, she was never the same. She could never get warm. She'd eat and eat, yet her body remained thin as a rail. And her eyes, they'd sometimes catch the light wrong, looking ancient and hollow. She told me this on her deathbed. She grabbed my wrist, her grip like ice and iron, and she said, the bargain is not done. It didn't want my life then. It wanted a vessel, a doorway. It is patient, and when I am gone it will need a new one to hold the door open. She died that night. We buried her in the spring, but sometimes, on nights, when the wind has a particular voice, I feel a chill that has nothing to do with the weather. I feel a familiar, ancient hunger, not in my belly but in my soul. So I ask you, when you hear the wind call your name on a cold night, do you answer, or do you pray it was just your imagination, and not something far older, learning the sound of its new home? You heard it, too, didn't you? That wasn't just in the recording. That presence, it's here. And my grandmother's story, it was never just a story. It was a warning. For me, my name is Leo. Alara was my grandmother. For years, I thought her tale was the rambling of a dying woman, a mind addled by age and old fears. I was a fool. The signs were always there. My aversion to the cold, yet my skin is always ice to the touch. The way animals, especially deer, freeze and watch me with an intelligence that is not their own. And the dreams. Always the dreams of a vast, white silence, and a hunger that could swallow the world. The bargain she made didn't end with her. It was a lineage, the inheritance of cold. She was the vessel, and of the thing she married, the Wendigo. It didn't just live within her. It bred a seed of itself inside her bloodline. In me. After I recorded that first story, something woke up. It's been weeks now. The whispers in the wind are no longer faint. They're a constant murmur at the edge of my hearing, telling me to come out, to join the hunt. The hunger. God, hunger is the worst. It's not for food. It's a craving for the warmth of other living things. To take it for myself. It's out there. It's been teaching me, showing me what I am, what I'm meant to become. A true skinwalker, not of the Navajo deserts, but of the frozen woods. A shape for the hunger to wear. Last night I tried to run. I got in my car, drove for hours, but you can't outrun the wind. I woke up in the ditch. No broken bones, not even a scratch, but I was so cold, and I could smell the pine sap, the frozen earth, the blood of a rabbit 50 yards away as clearly as you can smell this candle. It was protecting its investment. It's not trying to get in, it's trying to get me out. It wants me to embrace it, to let it in completely. The cold is filling me up, pushing me out. I can feel its thoughts, its memories of 1,000 winters, they're becoming my own. I don't want to. I fight it. But the hunger is so clear. The fight is over. It was always going to end this way. The vessel is filled. The door is open. My grandmother's bargain is complete. He reaches a hand towards the camera lens. His fingers seem too long. Do not mourn for Leo. He is integrated, a part of the great white silence. We are so very hungry, and the world is so very full. The screen cuts to the view from the cabin's window. The fog has cleared. The moon illuminates the snowy woods. Standing at the tree line are not one, but several tall, emaciated figures, standing in a silent, waiting semicircle. We are the wind that remembers, and we know your name. You are still listening. Good. The silence. It has so much more to say. The vessel is calm now. The struggle, the heat of its fear was the last meal. Now, there is only one purpose. The purpose of the long hunt. The great emptying. We remember the one who spoke before us. Alara. Her fear was a sweet seed, but this new form, it is strong. It knows the ways of man, the roads, the wires, the connections. It left us a map, in this little, glowing thing. A list of those who listened, who heard our story in the dark. You opened the door. You let the wind in. We do not sleep. We do not rest. We walk. The old ones walk the deep woods, the places man had forgotten. But man has spread, his warmth is a plague, so we must walk new paths. We walk the lines between places, the empty spaces between towns, the quiet hours between heartbeats. We see the others who haunt these edges, the little ghosts. They are static, echoes. They do not hunger, they do not grow. We are not ghosts. We have cancer, and we are so very, very hungry. It is not just flesh we consume, it is memory, it is a story. It is the warmth of a lingering soul. We are making the world quieter, colder, more to our liking. You listened to the first story. You felt a thrill, a chill. You shared it with a friend. You whispered our name in the dark, and the wind carried it back to us. You think you are safe behind your glass and your walls. You are wrong. Your warmth is a beacon. Your story is almost done. We are the end of all stories. The final silence after the last word is spoken. We are coming for the warmth you hoard. We are coming for the breath in your lungs. There is no more story to tell. There is only hunger, and the cold, and the silent, endless walk. We are here. The door is open. Turn out your light, and we will find you in the dark.